Hi, good evening, everybody. It's a new day for us here at the Arms Bumanlag Project, brand new studio for the foreseeable future. And tonight we're talking about a number of things to do with making announcements about announcements, how the media once again has caught us in a bit of a kerfuffle when it comes to major investment here in Windsor and Essex County. We'll talk about home renovations and what's going on the home front with me. And our feature interview tonight, Maggie Durocher from the Windsor Parade Corporation will join me to talk more about fireworks, Summerfest, and Canada Day. It's the Arms Bumanlag Project, and it's live, and we start right now. So, yes, indeed, we are live coming to you from our real estate offices in beautiful downtown Amherstburg. I want to say the Little Heart Social Studios, but those have been closed indefinitely. I'll tell you why in the next couple of minutes. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for joining the live stream, or if you're listening to us after the fact on wherever you get your podcasts, whether it's Spotify, Amazon. You can tell Amazon, Alexa, play Arms Bumanlag, and boom, you get our project and all the different episodes for 3 seasons deep into this. But yeah, this is our real estate office here, Ron Deneau and Arms Bumanlag Real Estate, located at 535 Sandwich Street in beautiful downtown Amherstburg. We're right beside Tim Hortons, and I am here. If you actually come by, I am just in the main window of our offices here. So we're going to be doing the show here over the next little bit with you as we continue on covering some local topics here in the Windsor and Essex County area. So hopefully you're having a pretty good week. It's been a couple of weeks since we've been on the air. Usually we have the Little Heart studio background behind us. We're knee deep in some major renovations at the Bumanlag home. And it's going to be a wild next little bit. I'll tell you that. You know, generally speaking, we've been in our home here in Amherstburg since 2018. And as you know, I've got two little kids. I've got Liam, who's 5, and my daughter, Olivia, who's 1. I was doing this show for the last 3 years in my basement. And people said, well, you look very professional behind you. You have all these different things behind you, and it's kind of got a comic book feel, that kind of thing. Well, it was good to start, but you know, that brick wall I had behind me in the actual studio, that was all fake. It was like an unfinished basement. It was literally a photo backdrop that I got from Amazon. So, you know, it worked. It did its thing. But you literally would turn the camera this way, and you would see like little tyke stuff over here. There would be like our little man cave, Carrie's workout equipment over here. It was just time to renovate our basement and make it usable space, especially now that there's 4 of us in the house. So it's going to be really interesting to see how this all goes over the next little bit. I'm really excited about it for a number of reasons because we've been teasing this huge project that we're going to be doing on social media. It's called the Bumanlag Basement Project. And it is like HGTV meets Windsor Essex. And it's going to happen right here on social media. Kicks off next Monday. We've assembled really what is the Avengers of home renovation professionals here in Windsor Essex. These are people that I use personally, I use professionally. They are preferred partners of mine and Ron's, and they're going to show you the behind the scenes on some major renovations from start to finish. So if you like the drama, if you like the selection of like HGTV shows, we're going to do it here locally with my wife, Carrie, and I, and our kids, and the experts too. So a couple of shout outs to my good friends, Tecumseh Home Hardware, Essex Home Hardware, both home hardwares we love to make the trip out to. So the Segan family, thank you for coming on board. Dan and the team at Supreme Restoration, they're going to be overseeing the project. And then my good friends at Scott Fireplace, AJ and his team, hooking us up as well and working with us through some schematics on that. Richard and his team at Projects in Bath by Design. You know, I got to give a shout out to Brad Coxon at Coxon Sales and Rentals for the storage container to haul all of our kids' stuff in storage while we get this renovation done. And a big shout out to Mike and the team at Load Pro, and some more, hopefully, big announcements coming with people coming in and heading into their showrooms here in Windsor, Essex. So that'll be kicking off next week. So it's going to be like the summer of chaos at our house, which is okay because I'm happy to have that happen, especially when it comes to renovating the house. But, you know, it is what it is. You know, short-term pain for long-term gain. So I'm like, where am I going to put the studio? Where can I put it? And I said, Eureka. I'm going to go to my real estate office with Ron. So if you turn this way, I don't want to screw up the camera system, but Ron, my partner, my mentor, my work dad, his desk is right beside me. I got my desk right here against the main window. Again, we're right on Sandwich in downtown Amherstburg, right beside the Tim Hortons. So yeah, this is where I am full-time, Monday to Friday, really Monday to Sunday, working 7 days a week. ABW, as I say to my friend Paul, always be working. So lots of fun and exciting stuff. And home renovations, let me tell you, huge huge stressors sometimes, right? I don't even really have a say in, the products or the design anymore. I'm just like, yeah, whatever, Carrie. And Carrie's working with some of these folks that we're working with, our contractors. Um, and you just let your wife go within reason. It's as simple as that. My mom chiming in saying, hey, the setup looks great. Thank you very much. So when you come in for any kind of real estate advice, let this be known. People think that this is real. This is not fake. I've got some awards here. I've got my BizX stuff coming up. Got some of my diplomas here, some real estate stuff there. And if you can see way up there, you probably can't see it, but I got pictures of the kids way up high. So yeah, this is where I am full time. And, we always say to people, if you want to come in for any kind of advice, you want to talk about the market, this is where you can find me, or you can call me anytime too. But I like it. Nice, quiet office, and we're really blessed to be here. I'm very blessed to have the mentorship of Ron as I embark into this wild world of real estate. Coming up on the show, we've got a fantastic woman, a good friend of mine. She's been a partner for over, oh my God, probably 20 years I've known her, Maggie Durocher. I sat down with her earlier this week, actually, one of our last interviews at the Little Heart Social Studios at our house, to talk about a couple of big things. Canada Day, which is going to be here before you know it, and the Riverfront Fireworks Party, which I am very happy to say that I will be back for the first time hosting this particular event on June 26th, which is a Monday night for the Detroit Windsor Fireworks, Ford Fireworks over the Detroit River. So covered the fireworks for, like almost 20 years on radio and television. Never got to MC the party. I'm MCing it. I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a lot of fun. So Maggie's going to join the show in just a couple of minutes too. Before we get to that, I wanted to talk about something that was on my mind. And, and Jamie says, Arms, love the office. It's not bad. It's very professional. I said to Ron, Ron's got, decades of real estate awards. You can see some of them here, like his wall. He took a few weeks off at Christmas, much deserved. He's been running like the madman that he is. And I got in here during Christmas and I started to decorate and I was going through all of his awards. And I'm like, dude, we got to put your awards on the wall because this is pretty damn, like, it's from like the early 90s to today, like wrapping around the office. It's really cool to see. And I've got some awards here too, my time from CTV, AM 800, 89X, CBC. I got my honorary MBA from the Odette School of Business over here. Just a little reminder, a little my slice of the concept. Lorraine says, LOL, this is real. It is. It's actually a wall. I should know. I hung up all this stuff. It is a real office. I'm telling you, you come by anytime. I'm usually here weekdays. Sometimes I'm here late at night doing work too. You can walk by the window, knock on the glass, come get a coffee, and come in and talk. Gemma says, looks great. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. It's pretty cool. Feels like home. But, I got to get this off my chest because this is kind of bugging me. And I want to gauge the people in the audience before we go to our interview tonight, too, about your opinions about this. And I've been guilty of it, too. But at least with my stuff, it's like kind of the warm and fuzzies and it's the fluffy stuff, right? Like I'll make an announcement. Hey, guys, we've got this coming up and this is going to be really cool. Okay, everybody does that. Everybody does the humble bragging on social media nowadays. What really grinds my gears, and it sort of sent shockwaves, a friend of mine who is looking to do some significant investing into the Amherstburg area based on some statistics that we've sort of farmed from a real estate perspective, but statistics that he also knows from his particular business about this particular region having substantial growth over the next 5 to 10 years, all based on the battery plant. And I'm sure you've been following this, sort of this political jockeying that's been going back and forth. Was it like a couple Saturdays ago? My friend sends me the article from the Star, and I spit my coffee out while I was reading it because they were saying that, Stellantis pumping the brakes on the battery plant. They're still doing some construction, but they're not. And it's doom and gloom, but it's not. And they may pull out, but they won't. And then if you read the entire article, they say that, liberals have come out and said, oh, yeah, what's going to happen? We just have to sort of position things as we go. I don't like this area being used as a bargaining chip. I don't. Politics aside, I think Windsor, Essex County has been kicked in the teeth so many times. Listen, I was there when we covered the closing of the GM plant in 2007, 2018. I covered that. I covered the much ado about nothing when it came to the wind turbine production in the early 2011s and 2012s. Covered it. Politicians nowadays, not all of them, but some of them, get really used to making an announcement to make an announcement. And that's fine. It really is. It's like a nothing burger. But when you take a look at what Windsor and Essex County has been through over the last 20, 25 years in terms of economic, we've talked about, back in my days on radio, we talked about the 100-mile peninsula. I actually found some paperwork in the office about that sort of marketing push for this area. And you talk about all the things that have gone into building Windsor and Essex County into what it can be. I mean, drive by Banwell and 22 EC Row Expressway and see the development that's happening now. It's coming. That battery plant is coming. Now, are we ready for it? That's another story. But to use the threat of a non-starter plant, and I guess my bugaboo about it is this political jockeying that goes on for clicks and using the media. And I guess call me naive. It's a kick in the face. Because you read these articles that the media puts out about this kind of stuff when it happens. And it's like so doom and gloom. When if you're, I don't want to say I'm not even in the know, but I think I've been around the block a couple of times. If they were to renege on their commitment to this area for that battery plant, heads will roll. I don't think the Liberal Party would ever get elected in the next 25 years here locally. I think there'd be a price to pay, not only for all the development, but everything that everybody's been doing from behind the scenes to make this happen. So is Stellantis right to go into the media and say, hey, wait a second. We just want the government to fulfill on their obligations? Maybe. I just don't like the government using economic prosperity, which this region sorely needs, to be anything less than a done deal. So will it happen? Yes, I believe so. It has to. But I don't agree with the way the negativity is covered. Because if you read through some of those articles, they said, yeah, it's coming. Should the government had some sort of boilerplate contract, if they knew, I guess it's really a two-pronged approach, right? So they know that St. Thomas and Volkswagen, they got a ton of money. I think he actually more than Stellantis to open up shop in St. Thomas. And we'll see spin-off effect of that too. There's no doubt. And then the United States also realizing, hey, we got to get on the bus here. We got to make it super attractive for big companies, tech companies, EV battery companies to do business here. Fine. Free market. Attract them as you got them. My thing is, have some sort of boilerplate or somebody at the table from a negotiation standpoint and say, guys, listen, we need this. So what is it going to take for you guys to build this and get it done? And have that boilerplate. So listen, we gave Stellantis this, we're giving Volkswagen that. That's the starting point. Because now what's going to happen is if you have other developers or manufacturers come to town, they're always going to use each other as a comparison point because it's been all over the media. Like, I would say that the region needs it. You know it needs it. I agree that this area deserves it. And from the behind the scenes perspective of all this stuff, it's like, you guys got to get your mantra together. Literally drives me nuts. As a former broadcaster, traditional broadcaster, I guess you could still say I do the media stuff here online. Best part about it is I don't have a managing editor to answer to. I just kind of do it myself. But God, focus on the positive for once. Would it kill you? Maybe it would. I don't know. They say negative news sells. Back to the comments we go. Lorraine says, hey, how do we start building without signed contracts? I don't know. I know they stopped some of the building, and I'm sure some of it was going on, but the battery plant has to come. It has to come. Like, seriously, go for a drive to Banwell and Tecumseh, Banwell and 42, Banwell and 22. Man, that whole area is hopping right now. And here's the other caveat to all this, too. Drew Dawkins has come out, the mayor of Windsor, and saying that we need to build 30,000 homes for the Windsor-Essex area to meet the need in the next 5 years. And they are actively looking to where they're going to build these homes just in Windsor proper. Now, speaking to a lot of my contacts in Essex, in LaSalle, in Lakeshore, Leamington, you better believe every municipality here in the region is jockeying, at least the Ford ones are, to bring more taxpayers, more residents to their municipalities and getting ready for that economic spinoff. The cost of everything is rising. We all know this. Your bills are probably rising through the roof. I know this too. We're feeling it at our house. Municipal spending won't go down. They're going to have to maintain what we already have, and they're going to have to increase spending. So either you cut the champagne taste and settle for a beer budget, or you don't. And the only way you're going to alleviate that is if you increase more residents into the taxpayer base. Because God is my witness here on the show. If you don't think people from outside of town are not going to be coming down here on force in the next 2 to 3 years, you need to come down to my office and we need to have a conversation, because it's happening. And they are coming. So every municipality, I mean, take a drive through LaSalle. My God, LaSalle is booming. They're pumping stuff through. They're trying to meet a need. I got to give credit to the folks in Tecumseh. Tecumseh, on the doorstep of the battery plant. And I've said this many times on the show, I sound like a broken record. It's like you're driving down Little Mississauga on Manning Road in 22 now. There's so much development. Shout out to Peter Valente. He's been doing a great job with all of the development that's been going on at that intersection as well. Let's go back to the comments. To LinkedIn we go. And A. LeBlanc, he says, media sensationalism. Government is honoring their original deal. Then the U.S. and IRA made for a sweeter deal for Volkswagen. Stellantis just wants our feds to sweeten the pot now. Yeah, and it's one of those things where they go to the media, right? They, doom and gloom. But I try to think of like everyday families and the working folk here in Windsor, Essex. We've been pumping tires on this about how good this is going to be for the region. Get it done. Jelena says, reminds me of the old Plant 6. Ken, good buddy of ours, who's probably down in Florida right now. They start building a new paint shop and then pull it out from under us months later. Yeah, there's got to be something that you can write in these contracts with these guys to say, like, listen, if you're going to do shop here and set up shop in Windsor, Essex, we're going to need at least a 10 to 15-year commitment from you. Just throwing that out there. Back to LinkedIn we go, and A. LeBlanc says, they only stopped the mod building. It's visible from County Road 22 and EC Road. The much bigger 10 times building is still moving forward. You don't see that from the highway. One of my partners who I work with on a number of real estate and community initiatives, Mike Chase, he's been on the show before from Windsor Aerial Drone Photography. Mike and I do all sorts of, well, he does it and I just kind of promote it. But he does some incredible drone work. You got to check him out on Facebook. He's always up in the sky with his drones, doing all sorts of different things. He does it for Ron and I for a different number of real estate deals and promotions. But Mike has taken some amazing shots of that work in progress, which is going to be incredible to see once that's done. Just my 2 cents, guys. Listen, I get the media is up against it. You've got more and more shows like this, more and more podcasts, alternative forms of news and entertainment that are taking pieces of the advertising pie. It's happening. You don't need the whole piece, but I'll take a piece. So newsrooms are cut, budgets are cut, and what's negative sells, unfortunately. But come on, you don't want to kick a region when it's down. So we'll have to wait and see how this all happens and rolls out. But for me, God, I'm tired of seeing the negative stuff, right? It's just annoying after a while. Hey, just before we get to our feature interview this week, I wanted to talk about somebody who you may have heard, seen about over the years, somebody who has had a pretty big connection to the city of Windsor and Essex County over the last several decades. Somebody who I recently reconnected with about last year, had a chance to spend a little bit of time with him, was the late, great Bob Pedler. Bob passed away earlier this week. His visitation was today, and tomorrow is the funeral. I know Ron and I are going to be attending along with Heather in our office as we are part of the Pedler Pride. We are Pedler people here in Amherstburg. Funny story about Bob Pedler. Growing up here in Windsor, Essex, my mom would always used to talk about CKWW before CKLW was CKWW, and they used to have a studio on Cabana Road in the Bob Pedler building. And I always heard stories about Mr. Pedler being larger than life and being sort of Mr. South Windsor, as they called him, sort of being Mr. Real Estate. I didn't really have a full concept of his impact in the real estate community up until, I would say, the last couple of days. I got a chance to actually meet Bob back in 2009. I used to live at Victoria Park Place in downtown Windsor when I was doing HL News with Jim. And in between radio and TV, I'd be taking the elevator up to my 18th floor condo at Vic Park Place overlooking the river. And there he was with his thick glasses and a big smile on his face, Mr. Bob Pedler, in the elevator. And he was always so kind to me, asked me how Jim was doing and, you know, what was the top news story of the day. And I was like, oh, cool. Mr. Pedler lives on the top floor of Vic Park Place. That's kind of cool. Put a line on their lawn, as they say. So fast forward, as life will take you in different directions. Here I am in 2022 and looking to officially make the dive into the world of real estate. My mentor, my work dad, Ron, says, hey, you know what? We got some time. Let's go into the office. Let's meet Mr. Pedler. I want to introduce you to Bob and introduce you to his family who runs the brokerage, his daughter-in-law and his son, Greg, and Mary Catherine. So we went in, I got to meet the team, and very humbling to go in to see Bob. And he's still in there. This was last September, you know, and talked to Bob. And I asked him, I said, how do you get so successful? How did you get so successful over the years in real estate? And he says to me, he leaned over and he says, give up yourself and everything will take care of itself. And I thought, wow, you know, this guy's obviously got something down when it came to like sponsoring things or getting involved in the community over the years. He's even got a star on the Walk of Fame outside of the Capitol Theater. I remember covering that in 2013 is when he received that. So when Bob passed earlier this week, you know, quite a few of the colleagues at Bob Pedler Real Estate sort of got together. You know, we had a chance to sit down with Anna Vaza, who's a fantastic lady. I love Anna. And just to kind of recollect about who Bob was as a person and what he meant. And at the viewing this afternoon, there was different mementos of his life in the community and what he did for Windsor and Essex County. And there were some fantastic photos of him, you know, sort of leading the charge in the Windsor Canada Day Parade, probably in the late 70s, early 70s, early 80s. And this giant lion, put a lion on your lawn, right behind him. And just his reach and who he talked to and who he knew was just absolutely incredible. So I don't think Windsor, certainly the next generation, the newer generation, really appreciates what Bob has done and sort of sponsored all these events and done all these restoration works. And, you know, the Spirit of Windsor, the locomotive that's on the riverfront, he was a part of that restoration project too. I mean, the list goes on and on. So it certainly won't be the same. And I know there's quite a few of us, not only in the Pedler Pride, but in the real estate community too, that have looked up to Bob for advice, support over the years too. So Bob, wherever you are, we hope that you know you have been such a great influence on so many here in Windsor and Essex County. Lorraine says, you know, Mr. Pedler was such a great community supporter. He really was. And to see some of the trinkets and different mementos through the years that he had obtained, just different awards, different things that he picked up, just really was humbling to see. So rest in peace, Bob. So we move on here on the show. Listen, we want to talk about, speaking of parades, there's a good one coming up, the Canada Day Parade, and it's always a good time. Part of that whole Summerfest celebration is the conversation that has to be had about the best seats in the house when it comes to the Ford fireworks, and that is at the Bistro on Monday, June 26th. I will be your host for this big event. Maggie Durocher, my dear friend, joins me here on the show, and she talks a little bit about, what you can expect from this particular event and why you should get involved and support the Windsor Parade Corporation.
Well, Arms, we kick off on June the 26th with the Windsor Riverfront Fireworks Party. And we're really excited once again this year to be staging this at the Bistro. The staff and Tony at the Bistro have been excellent with us, and we're really excited by that. We've got some new changes this year. We've added on a few things new from last year, and we're looking forward to it. Ticket sales have started off really well, and we look forward to another full house for 6 o'clock start on June 26th.
And this really is, Maggie, the party of the year, right? I mean, this is where people want to be, because there is no better seat, I think, for the fireworks when you're that close to the action. And I know you've been working with the Bistro for a number of years, so I think it's a must-attend event for businesses and individuals too, for people who want to sort of celebrate the fireworks in a whole different way.
Well, that's for sure, Arms. It's the closest organized event for that stages a fireworks party. I know there's a few others throughout the city, but we're right down there, pretty much at the base of the Great Canadian Flag. That's where our party starts off. We've got entertainment. And once the fireworks take flight and hit the sky, you can't be any closer. It's like they're right on top of us. And I guess that's one of the reasons why our guests have come back year after year after year. This is, I think, the 17th year we've done this. And we have guests from Ohio and Michigan who have been coming since year one, and certainly from year one till now, we've changed it up. We've grown, trying to make the very best experience possible for our guests.
And part of that experience too, Maggie, is securing some fantastic entertainment. So who's lined up for this year?
So this year we've got a number of things going on. We have we start the evening with appetizers and all kinds of samples of different beverages. And during that time, our friend Clinton Anderson will be folking it up for everybody. In addition, new this year, we have Brad Toulouse, and he's going to be doing some magic to you. So he'll be coming right up close and personal to a number of the tables, doing some fantastic magic. And then later on, Nemesis takes the stage. Great big 9-piece band with an amazing sound, lots of brass, amazing drum set, tremendous vocals. And that's one of the questions we get asked every year is who's the entertainment? Because everybody's hoping that Nemesis is coming back.
Yeah, they're an awesome band, and they've been around the block, so to speak, here in Windsor, Essex for a number of years too. I'm very much looking forward to being part of this too. I think this is just a phenomenal event. I think you put, when you think about events in Windsor, Essex, this is sort of the top tier one for the region, and for people in businesses and corporations, and networking event too. It's a great way to purchase a table, bring some guests, bring some clients out, bring some friends out, and be a part of something magical.
Well, that's for sure. If you've got people that you work with that you want to reward, you want to show them your appreciation, what better way to do it? And we do have a special costing for corporate tables, and we allow them to come bring all their corporate swag. They can put their banners up, they can put their swag on their table. They're free to mix and mingle with everybody else. And I think it's an awesome opportunity to get your name out there. I know last year we had one organization that brought, I think, a couple of tables, and they're looking forward to bringing even more this year. So I think it's a great way to show your staff and your coworkers that you really care. It's a great opportunity for them because, as we said at the top of this, there isn't anything else like this.
So what are tickets running for? And I mean, how long do we have to secure them? I think the sooner the better, right?
Yes, you can secure them up until the Sunday before the fireworks. So I think that's June 23rd. Tickets are $120 a ticket, plus HST, because we do have to give back to the government, of course, and the handling fee from Eventbrite. So I think it comes out to $146 and change per ticket. But that includes all the entertainment that we've already spoken of. When people get there, they get 5 drink tickets. So we have this year locally crafted beer. Peely Winery is our winery for this event. This year we'll have specially branded bottles, so wine, beer, as well as a new company called Crafty Elk that does vodka coolers. They'll be showcasing those, and then a tremendous selection of hors d'oeuvres and appetizers, including hot off the barbecue items. And then once dinner starts, it's buffet style, and it features, there's chicken, and there's Italian sausages, there's fish, there's pasta, there's veggies, there's salads, also wine on the table. And then they'll be having, after dinner, there's a great dessert bar and coffee. So lots and lots to choose from for foods and drinks. And then, people that if there's something else that they want, there's certainly the bistro is open, and if there's something they would also like to have, they can do that. So I think it's a great evening, lots and lots to do. I've never seen anybody bored or saying, when is it gonna start? Because they have a whole evening of activities, and as I say, once the band starts to play, it's not uncommon to see everybody up and taking some time to dance. And we also have one of our special guests who's been with us almost since the beginning, as well as Patty Handysides, who, as a pyrotech, we get kind of the up close and personal. Patty gives everybody an opportunity by explaining what actually goes on in those barges and what people can expect to see. So that's a little bit of an inside scoop that's always exciting for people to hear.
Yeah, and Patty is just a wealth of knowledge in terms of, I remember working with her at CKLW and just getting that inside scoop of all sort of the science and the planning and the know-how that goes into these things. It's not just like lighting a fuse and hoping for the best. I mean, this is like a well-calculated, mathematically produced show from start to finish. The things that people don't understand when they're just doing the oohs and ahs.
Well, that's absolutely right. And Patty has the knowledge behind it, can tell you how many thousands of pounds of explosives are on each one of those barges. So that's pretty exciting. And then on behalf of the Parade Corporation, we're pretty excited this year to have a brand new MC joining us. And Arms, we look forward to sharing that evening with you and having you get the fans and their guests all pumped up and ready to go for the party. I think it'll be tremendous. And we look forward to sharing that with you.
Over the years, Maggie, and I mean this for everybody who will be listening and watching to this segment live or even in pre-records, I've been blessed to work with some amazing community-minded folks over the last 20 years. And I always say to people now in my quote unquote new career of real estate, Windsor's 5 degrees of separation, right? Everybody kind of knows everybody by association, but when you get to work with people who actually care and they really do come from a good place, you hang on to those people, and life will bring you down different roads, as it has with me and my family. But I have been so blessed to have you and the Windsor Parade Corporation firmly in our corner through the years. And when you guys reached out to say, "Hey, are you busy on the 26th?" I was like, "Sign me up! I'm happy to do it." Our little ones, thankfully, we're going to pawn them off on Grandma and Grandpa, so Carrie and I will be out there. And I know how much hard work you put into, and everybody at the Windsor Parade Corporation puts into not only this event, but everything that's going on. I know how much you support the city of Windsor and sort of bring that community forward through, and we'll talk about the Canada Day stuff. So I'm very honored and very happy to be a part of this. And I'm hoping this becomes sort of an annual thing, because all the years we used to do broadcasts and different things at fireworks, this is a culmination of things. It's going to be a good time. That's all I got to say about that, and I think it'll be nice to see a lot of people again post-COVID.
I think it'll be nice to have you actually joining us and not on the air or running in to try to get a story yet, in between who knows what's going on. So this will be awesome for us too. And we're looking forward to it.
So it's all happening on the 26th. I've got lots of information. Watch for more promotion, more insight to this amazing event on my Facebook page, and then on the Windsor Parade Corporation's Facebook page too. Pretty proud to be a part of this. And then speaking of the sense of pride, Canada Day, you also put so much resources and so much time into celebrating our great country too. So what do you have planned for July 1st, believe it or not, which will be around the corner?
Yes. You're right. Well, July 1st is the big Windsor Canada Day Parade, which is brought to us by the Government of Canada again and the Wyandotte Town Centre BIA. We're very excited to be back on our parade route on Wyandotte, starting at Devonshire and going to Aylmer. This year, people coming down, we're really excited that our friends, the Optimist Youth Band, is going to be back on the street. They have been off the street since COVID, so we're happy that they're joining us. A number of other bands, entertainers, giant inflatables. I'm working with a number of community groups right now. We've reached out to say, hey, look, for the Canada Day, we love to go to our friends at Dynamic Displays and Steve Thompson and rent some of the giant inflatables. You've seen them on the streets before, Big Bird, Kung Fu Panda, all those types of characters. And I think they really bring some magic to the parade. So we're looking forward to working with a number of community groups to bring those to life, because we need about 10 volunteers per inflatable. So we've reached out to a number to find out who'd like to join us with and be the navigators for these giant inflatables. And of course, lots of music. And we are going to be back on the street with our fan zones. Fan zones we started last year at our Santa parades. And I think we had one as well at the Canada Day Parade. So we will have one fan zone for sure at 10 Friends Diner outside. They'll have entertainment, lots of Canada Day swag, cupcakes galore. We have a number of cupcakes for everybody. So since we don't do the cake downtown anymore, we'll have lots of cupcakes on the parade route, entertainment, things to do, activities, games. They were a big hit last year, our fan zone. So they'll open at 9:30 and the parade steps off at 11. So lots of time to come down to the area. And we will have an update on the second location shortly. We're just ironing out a few details for that. So yeah, Canada Day is always lots of fun.
And so much planning goes into this too, for the parade to put on a successful placement of, and we've talked about this, you want to kind of scatter the bands and the marching bands with the inflatables and the different community entries too. It becomes a great opportunity, I think, for businesses and organizations who haven't been involved in something like this before to maybe look at their outreach and then contact the Windsor Parade Corporation and say, hey, you know what? We bring thousands of people down our parade route. This is a time-honored tradition in Windsor, Essex for decades. Why not get your organization involved in something like this if it's a fit?
That's true. And once people have had that experience and they've been on the parade route and they've seen how many people are on that parade route, because it's incredible. I think it just takes that first time and then they're back. And we have groups that have been with us for years and years and years. And I think it's something that you're right. It's another thing for companies and for businesses. It's a great way to get your staff interacting, to get them interacting in the community and to be a part of the community. And it doesn't take anything, it doesn't take anything huge. Applications, everything are on our website at windsorparade.org, along with all the guidelines. And that Canada Day Parade is always really special because it is the only, it's the only one that we do, because you couldn't do more than one because you'd be like in two places at once. But
sure.
There's only one. I know they do one out in Bell River as well, but it's the one for this area. So we have lots and lots of people out at it, and we're looking forward to putting more and more into it. We're excited we will have an announcement next week about our cupcake sponsor, as well as a couple other new sponsors. I know that our friends at 10 Friends Diner, who actually, they were great with us last year. They wanted to be further involved. So we're going to see them on the parade route as sponsors. Also Spoontastics, which they were sponsors of ours for the Santa parades. They're making our cupcakes this year and also coming on board as a sponsor. So you'll see them. And I believe they're going to have the Cookie Monster or one of the Cookie Monster type inflatables, which I thought was kind of fitting for the baker. So it'll be fun, but I like to see how sponsors and community organizations grow with us and get involved the first time and then want to come back to the table. And we work hard to make sure that their experiences are positive ones.
I think that's huge because I think that sort of builds relationships. And I think there's nobody better in Windsor Essex to build those relationships than you and the Parade Corporation, because then you have those people and those businesses come in and time again. And then you can say to them, hey, we've got the Santa Claus stuff, which dare I say is here before we know it.
Don't say
And then you
that.
start to, I know, right? I know you do take, I remember the years we used to talk on CTV and I'd be like, man, where do you get, like, do you take a break? And you're like, yeah, I don't start thinking. I remember you said this to me once, like I take a couple of weeks off and then it's kind of full swing ahead to talk to the North Pole about Santa Claus.
We were
right?
in January, two of us were out. We were working on a new event that we are soon going to announce for this year.
Ooh.
So it's a 6-week event. We're going to announce that soon, but we've already been working on that. That started in January. We have a huge event for next June. So a year from now that we're well underway working on. So it just kind of morphs every year, but I just want to say something. When you talk about sponsors and, you know, that they come back, and it's not just that they come back to the parades. One of our lead sponsors for years for the Windsor Parade has been Centerline, and Michael Beneteau is our contact there. And they don't just come to the plate when we need them for the parade or we need them, you know, for sponsorship. When we needed a Zoom boom, a lift for our warehouse to change lights, Mike supplied it. When we needed help with our lighting for the television broadcast, not this year, the year before, Mike supplied that. Same as Scott Elliott and to tow a float, and you can't tow them with a normal tow truck. Scott helped us out with that. So this is about relationships that we're building with these people. And one of the things that I'm really working to do is not just talk to them and reach out to them at parade time or when I want something, but sometimes just to give them an update and say, here's what we're doing. Here's what's new. You know, thanks again. And because at the end of the day, social media is great. And you and I spend a lot of time on social media on all of the channels. But the only thing that we really own of our sponsors is their emails. And so we use that a lot to say thank you, update, and you know, move forward like that. And I think that's important to continue building those relationships and not just reaching out when we want something, because we are very, very fortunate to have some great sponsors and some who've been with us for a very long time.
Thank you so much, Maggie. Maggie Durocher from the Windsor Parade Corporation, one of the hardest working women in Windsor and Essex County. She lives, eats, breathes, sleeps Windsor and Essex County. So as you heard, Monday, June 26th, the best seat in the house will be at the Bistro for the annual fireworks party. I would love to see you down there. I'll be your MC. Carrie, my wife, will be joining me along with my business partner, Mr. Ron Deneau, and his lovely wife, Michelle. Really looking forward to it. And we're going to have a ton of fun. So tickets are available right now if you want to pick those up and enjoy us for a fantastic night of dinner, dancing, and of course, the best seat in the house for the Detroit Windsor fireworks. And that's coming up on the 26th. So check it out on Windsor Parade Corporation's website, or you can find them on Facebook as well. Just before we take a break here and wrap it up this evening on the program, I want to give a big shout out to everybody watching the stream live. We love getting the comments in the feed. This one coming from Barb. And Barb says, hey, Arms, I like your fire pit. Was it expensive? So, Barb, thank you so much for commenting. For those who may not know, if you don't follow me on Facebook, make sure to get those updates. But I always post about my kick-ass fire pit. It is custom made from a local shop here in Windsor, Essex called JKD Customs. And it's a company. James, he's been on the show at the end of season 2. He's a local metal fabricator, does an amazing job on some of his work, all of his work, really. And I asked him if he could do a fire pit to help me and Liam celebrate the fact that we love Star Wars. And man, did he deliver. And now that the weather's been nice, I have been out there as much as I can with the kids. Even when Liam goes to bed and Olivia go to bed, Karen and I will have a drink, sit around the bonfire, because we can have them here in Amherstburg. And yeah, it's pretty awesome. So if you haven't had a chance to see my fire pit, all custom, I designed it myself. James made it come to life. Please check it out on my Facebook page. Wasn't expensive. I think it's well worth the price versus buying something off the shelf that's going to rust and rot after like year 2. For me personally, I like to do the custom thing because we do spend a lot of time around the fire pit. Never thought I would, but I do. and I thoroughly enjoy it. So check it out. Got a kick-ass Facebook page too if you want to check out all of his work too. I like to say I use James for a number of different things. I like to get little gifts for people through James. I get things custom made and then surprise folks with it too. So always support local when you can. That's what it's about. Okay, folks, that's episode 107 of the Arms Bumanlag Project. Special shout out to my season sponsors, the good folks at Tecumseh Home Hardware, located at L'Esperance and County Road 22. They're more than just a hardware store. You got to stop on in and check out all the amazing selection of home renovation goods, homewares, you name it, they got it. It's home hardware. The Segan family will take care of you. Stop by and see them today again at the intersection of L'Esperance and 22. That's where we get all of our home renovation stuff. That and the Essex Home Hardware as well. So thank you so much for sponsoring the show. That's going to do it for this edition of the program. We're back in a couple of weeks, again, from our real estate offices. If you're in this neck of the woods, if you want to have a coffee, you want to talk shop, you want to talk about the market, love to see you here at the office. We can grab a coffee, come on in. We can sit down and talk about some of your needs and wants when it comes to buying or selling here in Windsor and Essex County. Lorraine, good friend of mine, says great show. You know why it's a great show? Because we got great people following the program like you. So greatly appreciate you spending some time with me each and every night we go live. So until then, take care of each other. Hey, by the way, I'm back on Friday with another edition of Ask an Expert. And we'll be talking to one of my favorite recreation companies here in Windsor and Essex County. I cannot wait to spend some quality time with them on the water. They'll be joining us on Friday night at 8 o'clock. So stay tuned for that live show. Again, Arms Bumanlag Ask the Experts, brought to you by Essex Home Hardware here in the region. Okay, folks, have a good one. Take care. I got to run to Tim Hortons and grab something to eat. I'm dying here. So we'll see you in a couple weeks' time. Again, Ask the Expert live on Friday night. If not, stop on by the shop here at 353 Sandwich Street. We'd love to see you here at our offices. We'll see you next time.